The Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap Up is a look at the events Southern Miss Student Media covered throughout the week and the events Southern Miss Student Media is working on for next week.
Good afternoon, Golden Eagles, and welcome to the Weekly Wrap Up show on Southern Miss Radio. You're tuned into WSM 88.5 FM. I'm your host for today, Adeline, and today we're taking a look back at what SM2 has been up to this past week, as well as what's coming up next. After this quick break, we'll be right back with Carter Crow with Stratcom.
Sponsorship comes from Furniture Direct, with locations in Hattiesburg, Laurel, and Columbia. Are you looking for a deal? Lots of styles on a good value? You can find them on Facebook at Furniture Direct Hattiesburg for the latest specials and promotions. Or you can shop anytime at FurnitureDirectNow.com. You can see why Furniture Direct is your furniture destination.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Weekly Wrap Up. Starting off, we have Carter Crow with Stratcom. How are you doing?
Hi, Adeline. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
Lovely to hear. Well, this week has been a great week in Stratcom. So when we take a look back through just socials this week, we had a lot of really good, engaging stories come out that y'all will probably hear about more when we talk about the paper, but I like to talk about when people get into the comments. And so a lot of people this week have just been engaging with us, bringing those numbers up, telling us how they feel about things. I know a lot of people were excited about the 7 Brew article post. I know it got a lot of outreach, and I saw it on a bunch of people's stories. But continuing with that, we've got some short form videos come out this week that have been just really awesome. I believe, yes, on the vaccine updates, what USM is saying about COVID-19 and the new way to recycle glass bottles that is being used in Mississippi. I found that short form video very engaging. I liked it myself personally. We got some cool photos up of the students, and this week, I believe for the first time this semester, we got our first episode of Southern Miss Says on our socials. So that's extremely exciting. I love Southern Miss Says, but other than that, we've been prepping a lot over here in Stratcom for our open house, which is going to be October 7th. I've been saying it for the past couple weeks, and I'm going to keep saying it until the day of because I am super excited. This is going to be a great event. We're going to have opportunities for everybody to understand and learn what all SM2 does as a whole. We will be broken down into our divisions. You can come meet each and every one of us. You can see what we do. You can see what we produce. And so that's going to be October 7th here in College Hall on the 3rd floor between the times of 4 and 6 o'clock. And that's on a Tuesday. So come out of class, come check us out, come say hey, come get some food. It's going to be great.
So excited for that. We have a quick news wrap from Stephanie Perez-Munoz, and then after that, we will be back with Micah Gibbs.
President Donald Trump has signed over 200 executive orders during his second presidency, one of them being prosecuting burning the American flag, signed on August 25th. The order directs the Attorney General to prosecute those who violate laws that involve desecrating the flag. Assistant Professor of Legal Studies William R. Newman explains what may be President Trump's intentions with this order.
I would guess that the goal is that they're hoping they can get somebody prosecuted. It makes its way all the way up to our Supreme Court, and they're hoping the more conservative court will say, we made a mistake in that precedent of Texas v. Johnson back in the 80s. You know what? Flag burning is a terrible thing, and Congress ought to have the power to criminalize it.
While signing the executive order, President Trump publicly claimed that if one is caught flag burning, that it would result in a 1-year jail sentence. But that is not directly quoted in the actual order. Freshman Adrian Gray believes that this executive order is inappropriate and violates her First Amendment right.
It's inappropriate for Trump to behave the way he is, how we aren't protected under the 5 freedoms anymore, according to him, because somebody's doing something that he doesn't like. That's why it's a freedom. You're able to do what you want. Doesn't matter if anybody likes it or not. And for him to not like it and him having the most power in the country, it's unnecessary.
You can visit whitehouse.gov for more information on this executive order. I'm Stephanie Perez-Munoz with SM2.
We're back with the weekly wrap up, and next up is Micah Gibbs. What have y'all had going on in your division?
Yeah, so for creative, we have been working on some of our shows that have already been established. Hub City Game Day will be filming today. We're doing an episode for the upcoming game versus Jacksonville State, so hope the Golden Eagles can go out there and get a win. Also, Beyond Borders, we filmed last Saturday. It was a great time out there at an international welcome event where they had a tour around downtown Hattiesburg. They got to see all of the local, hot spots and like regions that, people go to. They went to Lucky Rabbit, they went to City Hall. They were kind of able to see downtown Hattiesburg, Pocket Museum, the theater. So it was a great event, seeing those international students kind of mingle with each other and kind of, get them integrated into the Southern Miss culture, or Hattiesburg culture, I should say. And then obviously, like Carter Crow said, Southern Miss Says came out this week. The question was, what would you do if you were president? And a lot of students gave a lot of good answers. Parking was the main one, but still a lot of great answers. And that's a great episode because we get to hear from the students and not just a reporter. It's coming straight from their mouths. It's how they feeling. So I really like that. Southern Miss Says tends to be playful, but this episode was a little bit playful, but it still had a serious tone to it. So it's always great to have that. As far as things we have coming up, we will be, creative. We'll be working on some shows in development right now that should come out in the spring. I don't want to say too much because then it'd be like, if it doesn't happen, then everybody be like, where is it? So we are developing new shows, new kind of content for Southern Miss student media and for, the students on campus to watch. And we want to be the premier TV for students. We want them to come to our YouTube and we want them to come to our Instagram for that top tier entertainment.
Anything else in the area?
From the creative side standpoint, not really much aside from, business as usual, Hub City Game Day. Beyond Borders will be releasing October 6th. So everybody be on the lookout for that episode. It's a new style of Beyond Borders as well. We kind of ditched the interview in the studio style, and we have adapted more of a documentary, man on the street type style where we are out there with them and we're getting their raw reactions and we're seeing these events they're going to. And the next episode after this one, I'll be teaching a few international students how to play football. So that should be interesting. I get to go back to my roots and kind of, show them how, probably put them through a little combine, a few drills and stuff, and that should be interesting as well. And yeah, I'll just say tune in to all of our shows. We're doing great work, and we were expanding our range. Commercials, graphic design, photography, videography. Creative division is really developing into something that will be great for SM2.
That's awesome. So be on the lookout for all of that coming up. We have a short break, and then we'll be back with Vivian Cookmeyer.
Active shootings in America have been an issue for years. Students are expressing how they think USM is prepared. Sophomore Kennedy Marshall believes that USM is equipped to handle an active shooting.
I feel like USM is prepared because if you go on campus, the camp police is pretty, they're pretty vigilant.
On the other hand, senior Gabby King does not feel that USM is prepared for an active shooting.
Personally, no, just because of Hattiesburg in general. I feel like most shootings that have happened aren't handled efficiently because they keep happening repetitively over and over again.
Although students had mixed emotions about USM's active shooter procedures, Chief of Police Rusty Keys assures that USM is prepared.
First thing to know is that no active shooter situation is the same. There's the unknowns, things you cannot factor in, but to overall plan and prepare for situations such as an active shooter, UPD, the University of Southern Mississippi, is very prepared.
University Police had their annual active shooter training this month. Chief Keys explains why training with local authorities is important.
We train together so we all do the same thing at the same time. We know how to respond. We know what kind of teams we got to put together to respond to the situation and what kind of building and how to communicate. We talk the same language. So that's why we train, and that training is very successful. We've been doing it for years.
Students can visit usm.edu/police for more information such as an active shooter training video. I'm Stephanie Perez-Munoz with SM2
Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Regresando a la escuela, sí tenía miedo, porque yo tenía pensamientos que no sabía si iba a poder hacerlo.
A los 47 años, Marco obtuvo su high school diploma.
Nunca es muy tarde para obtenerlo.
Nadie obtiene un diploma solo. Si estás pensando en obtener tu high school diploma, puedes recibir ayuda. Encuentra clases gratis para adultos cerca de ti en completatudiploma.org. Repito, completatudiploma.org. Presentado por la Dollar General Literacy Foundation y el Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, next up on our weekly wrap-up with updates is Vivian Cookmeyer telling us a little bit about the newspaper.
Yeah, so we had some really good stories this week. On our front page, we had a story about Dr. Eddie Holloway. So he is actually a Hattiesburg native, and he was the first African-American dean of students for Southern Miss. And Kennedy Drake did a feature on him because they are renaming a street after him. So that was a really cool story. And then we also had one of our Prince reporters do a story on iFriends, which is connecting international students in Hattiesburg. I thought this story was really cool because it started out as a Facebook group back in 2007, and now it's grown to something much bigger. They have a lot of local events for international students. They provide resources for them as well, so I think that's really, really awesome. And yeah, we had some really cool opinion pieces. I know that sports has been working really hard, and we've had some changes with them as well this semester. And they've been providing some really good articles as well as content for Hub City and for SM2. So that's really cool. And speaking of SM2, we just had another episode released yesterday. We've had a lot of changes. We do have some new main anchors this semester. We did have a special guest anchor for our sportscast, Hub City Game Days, Gavin Blackshear. He did great for his debut on SM2. And then you also might have noticed that Gabby was our weather anchor this week. So that was really awesome that they stepped up to the plate, and I think they did really well for having to do it for the first time. So that was really cool. But yeah, so we had a lot of different stories. We talked about Hall of Fame inductees for this year. We also talked about the competitive job market and how students can prepare for the difficulties that they face. I know for me, like on Indeed, there's so many AI generated job applications and stuff, and you don't know what's real anymore, and it's a lot harder to get through to employers now. So I think it's going to be interesting for students graduating. But yeah.
All right, well, I'll switch gears into radio world briefly. So this week we had a lot of really great guests. You can go watch that on our YouTube. We go live every Monday through Thursday at noon. Monday and Wednesdays are hosted by Sam Romeo, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by Skylar Angus Barker. This week we had 2 remote shows from the Shoemaker Square Fountain, which we were really excited about. We're trying to do more of those so that you guys can see us out on campus. And I think our next one for the remote by the fountain is going to be October 29th and 30th, I think. So go check us out then.
Right before Halloween, too.
Yeah, it's for our Halloween
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. We have our weekly wrap-up shows here and our student-run shows. All good stuff. WSM 88.5. Tune in. Check us out on YouTube. All the things. I think, unless anybody else has something to add.
Micah, if I'm not wrong, do we have a new host for Hub City this week?
Yeah, so normally I'm the host, the creator, the producer, the brains behind Hub City Game Day. But this week and for the foreseeable future, I'll be stepping down from the hosting spot, the main guy, I would say. And Cameron Johnson, a freshman, is going to take my place. I'll be focusing more on the production side of Hub City Game Day to make sure that the quality remains the same and it even improves for this season and for the seasons that go on. But he's a great kid. It's been great mentoring him, kind of taking him under my wing so he can kind of learn the ins and outs of not just journalism, but navigating college life and just personal life and everything. So I'm excited to see what he does for his first episode today. And I hope he does great things, and I can watch the episode and be proud.
Mm-hmm. That's really awesome. When is that gonna be airing?
So Hub City Game Day will release an hour before the game. So the game starts at 6. Hub City Game Day will be out at 5. So y'all tune in for that little pregame show. We talk sports. We talk about USM, our matchup against Jacksonville State, and then we also talk about national games. The national games we'll talk about this week: Oregon versus Penn State, and then Ole Miss versus LSU. So we have a lot of big topics to talk about, and we really focused this year on talking sports and not just being talking heads, but making the show actually have stats and facts and all of that to make sure our reporting is correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think just across the board that we have a lot of new students this semester, and I feel like they've really done a good job of hitting the ground running and learning and going all in on whatever division they're working with. So I'm really proud of Cam, and I'm proud of the rest of them as well.
I agree. All of our new people are doing really great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for our weekly wrap-up. Y'all remember to go pick up a newspaper, watch SM2 listen to the radio, check out socials, all the things. But that's it.
Thanks, y'all.
This has been the Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap-Up. A look at the events Southern Miss Student Media has covered throughout the week and the events Southern Miss Student Media is working on for next week. The Southern Miss Student Media Weekly Wrap-Up airs Fridays at noon on Southern Miss Radio. We'll see you next week for the Southern Miss Student Media